Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back finally with the best of 2018 release. I know I missed a lot of releases. There were some I just hadn't heard, and I'm sure there's some that I've forgotten, but to me these are some of the ones that I enjoyed the most. I got about 30 to get through, so I'm going to try to run through this really quick. First though, an honorable mention: Faith Extractor, Proverbial Lambs to the Ultimate Slaughter. Ash & Company put out just another solid release, but it didn't quite make my top 30. But still, definitely worth checking out. I got one tape to show because I haven't picked up the CD copy yet. This is Hyperdontia with Nexus of Teeth. Amazing death metal album. Vocals very, very eerily similar to Anti from Demilich. So if that sounds like it's right up your alley, definitely check that out. Okay, first up, this is the new All That Remains, Victim of the New Disease, a band that I had kind of written off up until I actually listened to this album. Very solid stuff, though I think they should have switched the lead-off track, Fuck Love, with the title track, Victim of the New Disease. Just flipped them around because it makes much more sense, I think, to end it with Fuck Love. Next up, Unearth, Extinctions, another solid album from these guys. Bad Wolves with Disobey. This is Tommy Vex, formerly of Divine Heresy. This is his new band. I really enjoyed this album, except for I'm not a big fan of the lead-off track, which I will not get into the reasons for. People that know me personally will know why I don't really care too much for it. Next up, another solid metalcore release, Parkway Drive, Reverence. Love these guys. Again, a band, this is not going to be much of a surprise if you know me. New Ghost, Prequel, really solid album in my opinion. You either love Ghost or you don't. I personally love them. Next up, Wraith, Heed the Warning, very solid thrash metal album. These guys have members split between Indiana and Illinois, but I consider them an Indiana band. I don't buy too much thrash anymore, but yeah, I had to pick this up. Definitely check this one out. This one had a lot of split opinions. I absolutely love it personally. This is the new Dimmu Borgir, Aeonian. This is pretty much what we're going to get from Dimmu Borgir from here on out, for better or worse, depending on your opinion. I personally thought this was a great album, and I look forward to seeing what they come up with next. Next, a solid return. I was not sure how it was going to be when they lost Abath, but they really proved me wrong, and I cannot wait to see what else they come up with now. This is Northern Chaos Gods from Immortal. Great album in my opinion. Next is one that I saw a lot of hype for, and when I listened to it, I saw that it was well deserved, and I'm going to butcher this name. Monin of Zesbeth with Ancient Spells of Darkness, and that title is very apt because this sounds like, you know, very ritualistic black metal. It just sounds like, you know, the music you would hear when somebody's performing a ritual. That's just my opinion. Next, Sojourner, The Shadowed Road. There was no doubt this was going to end up on my list. Emilio & Company just put out another solid album. They've transcended the atmospheric black metal tag. I just consider them an atmospheric metal band with elements of black metal, death metal, folk. So they transcended the tag that they were given upon their debut album. And I really look forward to seeing where this band goes. Next up, Dragon Lord, Dominion. Just a solid symphonic black metal album put out by Eric Peterson of Testament. Absolutely love it. Next up, some Texas death metal with Infuriate, self-titled debut. I was able to get the tape copy of this. Finally, I was able to track down a CD copy. But yeah, really solid debut album. Cannot wait to see what these guys have in store for the future. Hate Eternal, Upon Desolate Sands. Seen these guys live for the first time a little while back with Cannibal Corpse. They absolutely blew me away. I love this album. It's brutal, it's technical, it's just fucking amazing. It's Hate Eternal, what can I say? Unleashed, The Hunt for White Christ. Unleashed is one of my favorite death metal bands. I guess you can say one of my favorite Viking death metal bands. And this album is just another solid addition to their catalog. Next up, Cataclysm with Meditations. I know a lot of people did not like the riffs on this. They said they weren't heavy enough, but I don't know. I really enjoyed this album. It was very catchy. Mauricio's vocals sounded as great as ever, and I absolutely loved it, so that's why it's on the list. Next up, some killer brutal death metal. Human Barbecue, Cannibalistic Flesh Harvest. This is the slipcase, and yeah, really awesome stuff. I have their EP, and I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of that EP, so when I finally got this new album, I was very excited. I need to track down the rest of their stuff, though, because killer band. Again, more killer brutal death metal put out from Gorehouse, which is a place I really need to make an order from here before too long. This is Cryptic Enslavement with Perverse Hallucinatory Descent. A lot of great brutal death metal came out last year, and this is just another fine example of it. I know there's several that didn't make the list, and it's a shame, but I can't, I couldn't possibly come up with a top 100. That would take me fucking forever. Next up, this album just makes you feel dirty. I mean, you listen to it and you feel like you need to take a shower afterward. That's how it feels. But this is Ruin with Human Annihilation. Killer release. I cannot wait to pick up some more from this band. Another one that their last couple left me a little but this is probably one of their best releases in quite some time, I think. This is the new Deicide with Overtures of Blasphemy. Amazing album cover. Great album. Yeah, what more can I say? Next up, Depravity with Evil Upheaval. Great death metal album. Kind of bordering on brutal death metal. Vocals very reminiscent, I think, of Frank from Suffocation. Definitely worth checking out. Another great brutal death metal album put out through Comatose. This is the new Cranium with Slamcosis. Excellent release. I still got a couple that I need to pick up from them. But yeah, really solid album. Cranium rules. There's no arguing with that. Next up, I was actually just listening to the tape of this earlier today when I was working on these lists, finalizing everything. Drawn and Quartered, The One Who Lurks. Just a classic death metal band. Yeah, I've not seen them put out a single bad release, in my opinion. And this is absolutely amazing. Definitely worth checking out. If they ever put out a vinyl pressing, if they haven't already, I've got to pick that up. Next, Gortuary, Divine Indigenous Sacrament. Another solid album from these guys. Amputated Vein put this out, and they also reissued their first two, which was great because I still needed those. I actually had one of them, but I needed I think it was their first one was the one I needed, and I went ahead and picked up the reissue of the second one just because that's what I do. More solid Texas death metal. This is Flesh Hoarder with Homicidal Necrophile. Sick stuff. Definitely go check these guys out. Again, put out through Comatose Music. And now, even though none of these have really been in any kind of order as far as, oh, this one's better than this one, this one's better than that one, no. These would probably be my top 5, and it was so tough because these right here, all these could have been my album of the year. We have Leviticity with Perseverance. Absolutely amazing album. Probably, if not the best, definitely one of the best Leviticity albums ever put out. One that is like catchy as all fuck. I listened to this countless times when I got it. That's Dee Snider, For the Love of Metal. I absolutely loved this album. There's so many great songs on here, but my personal favorite would have to be Mask. I just absolutely love that song. It gets stuck in my head for days after I listen to it. Next up, Carriage with the Visions debut album. Amazing stuff. Really solid heavy metal. It has such a King Diamond vibe to it, especially in the vocals. I listened to this quite a bit as well, and like I said, it was so hard to pick one that I would choose as a #1 album. But yeah, this just didn't quite make the cut. Next up, it's not a year-end list for me without having a little Priest in it. Firepower, newest album, killer album as always from these guys. The only albums I've never been too big on were the ones with Ripper Owens on vocals. But yeah, another solid release from the Metal Gods. And finally, my album of the year. Like I said, it was not easy picking this, but this is another one that I listened to a lot. And the fact that I actually helped fund this album kind of made it a little extra special for me. That is Nita Strauss, Controlled Chaos. Such an amazing album. If you're into shred albums, yeah, you definitely owe it to yourself to check this out. She is the guitarist for Alice Cooper, if you were not aware of who she is, and I helped do not quite a crowdfunding. I basically helped donate to make this album possible. So like I said, that kind of makes this a little bit extra special for me. But yeah, she just put out an amazing album. She is an amazing guitar player, and I cannot wait to see if and when she puts out a second album. So yeah, album of the year 2018 for me, Nita Strauss, Controlled Chaos. Check it out. And that is going to do it. Finally, this list is done, and I can quit worrying about getting it all finished. So, like I said, I know I missed a lot of things, and there's some that, you know, I just haven't heard. Yeah, well, what can I do? So, yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.